MLS action is in full swing, and London was the place to be over the weekend with a derby and a cup final at Wembley. Hey guys, it's Dave and Diego here for you with our latest episode of A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. We'll review all of the comings and goings, talk about the upcoming international break, and maybe some predictions too. All right, Diego, welcome back. How was your St. Patrick's Day weekend?
It was beautiful. We actually, as the Neighbor Brewing Company, we had the pleasure to be in the Orange County St. Patrick
Yeah,
Parade.
I saw.
It was a lot of fun. You know what I mean? We had interacted with a lot of people, and we actually got to talk football with a few of them. You know,
Nice.
So that was nice. Yeah, it was a very good experience.
My brother actually was in Goshen, and
Oh,
he
there you go.
randomly texted me a photo of the smart car. So he's like, that they don't fit in there.
No, it was the tiniest car for the biggest parade, dude. But you know what? It made us stand out.
It does.
Because people were like, what the hell?
Yeah, no,
And,
it's. I mean, we've had that smart car for forever. It feels like, and
Yeah.
we had to dust it off and
It was beautiful.
hand crank the motor again, and
Well, surprisingly enough, it's an efficient car.
of course,
Yeah,
of course.
It's amazing though. We couldn't sneak anywhere. It was a good experience. Made me want to think about maybe having one of those. Dude, parking with that?
Oh
Incredible.
yeah.
It was beautiful. But yeah,
And
no, it was a lot
You
of
don't even
fun.
have to know how to parallel park. You just pick the car up and put it there.
There you go. You just push it a little bit and it's in.
Perfect. All right, so let's jump right into the Premier League action. We do have an international break right now.
Yes, sir.
So this was kind of a big period for teams to kind of leave on the right foot.
Yeah.
And we're inside of 10 matches left now. We are in the home stretch. The last quarter of the season. So for the most part, generally speaking, this time of year, the spots are pretty much sealed up. Maybe there's a late title race, things like that. We have kind of the opposite this year, where the title is all said and done.
Place, yeah.
But all of Europe, all those European spots are up for grabs, including one that just got solidified. So we'll jump right into it. Nottingham Forest 4-2 at Ipswich Town. Again, they keep on humming along.
Yep.
Actually, oddly enough, I was at the NYCFC game Saturday night.
Yeah.
And sat right in front of me were two English people from Nottingham, wearing all their Forest gear. So it was, we obviously had a nice fun chat and talking about Forest and Bournemouth and what they're doing in New York. So that was a cool experience. But yeah, now Nottingham Forest are pretty much solidly in third place. They're 5 points ahead of fourth place Chelsea with, like we said, 9 matches left. So it is, Champions League is theirs to lose now.
Yeah, I know. And if they keep playing the way they've been playing,
and that's what I was talking about with the other fan at Yankee Stadium is every week I'm like, they can't keep it up. They can't keep doing this.
They do.
And here we are, week in, week out.
Getting results.
And honestly, they were up 3-0, 2 late goals from Ipswich, followed by, along with another late goal from Forest, made it the 4-2 score that it was. But it was Nottingham Forest jumping on them early, 3 goals in a 6-minute period in the first half.
Very efficiently scored, too.
And here we are.
Yeah, no, it's a showing of like what the English Premier League is. There is always that one team that, prepares, finally hit their peak at the right time, and that's when you get
all kudos to Nuno Espirito Santo for getting them on track this year. They really have been a revelation for the league. Okay, elsewhere, Man City hosting Brighton in one of our dual supporters club matches. The spoils were shared 2-2. An 11th minute penalty from Erling Haaland, followed by an Estupinian goal in the 21st. Omar Marmoush scored in the 39th, and then the only second half goal, a Kushanov own goal, his second own goal already in Man City blue.
It's a little sad, though.
Yeah, it is. So 2-2 draw. Man City dominated possession with 61%. Again, nothing out of the ordinary for Man City. Dominate the match. Don't get all 3 points.
Yeah, Brighton play well.
Oh, of course.
They did.
Brighton is really starting to get on track.
Yes.
Back on track to where, most fans
would expect them.
Think they belong. Let's just go back to their last few matches. So obviously the 2-2 draw. They beat Fulham on March 8th. They beat Newcastle in the FA Cup on March 2nd. They beat our Bournemouth in February. They beat Southampton 4-0 February 22nd. They beat Chelsea 3-0 in the league. They beat Chelsea 2-1 in the FA Cup. So really, since that embarrassing loss to Nottingham Forest on February 1st, they are unbeaten across all competitions in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches now.
Yep. You know, it's funny though, now that you said Nottingham Forest have woken up a lot of these teams. After they play them and they lose to them, they kind of like ignite these sparks.
Exactly.
It's we think that Liverpool is the bar to pass, but no, I think it's not.
Forest really, they do really seem to be that kind of litmus test, as we normally put it.
Yes.
So, all right, elsewhere, we had a London derby, Arsenal hosting Chelsea. This was the Sunday marquee match, a 1-0 victory for Arsenal to really put their stamp on second place.
Yes.
Chelsea was held to only 2 shots. A Mikel Merino goal in the 20th minute was all Arsenal would need, despite conceding the possession. But
it was a tactical decision.
Oh, for sure.
But it was weird because they just went back early. As soon as they scored the goal, they were like, we're done.
Well, it's also, they don't have, we've talked at length about their injury issues at the number 9 position.
Yeah.
They did not bring anyone in the January window to fix that.
Right. So right now,
when you don't have that big, strong forward for hold up play, you're kind of limited and you become very one-dimensional.
You resign. You're like, all right, we got the goal, let's protect it.
Exactly. So that puts, let me check the table again. So that puts Arsenal in second on 58, 12 points adrift of Liverpool, and 4 points ahead of Forest in third. So really, for all intents and purposes, they are kind of locked in second place.
At least.
Obviously, if Forest continues to ascend, and Arsenal drops a match or two here or there, they could fall down to third. But I am pretty consistently thinking now it's going to be Liverpool, Arsenal, Forest for second, third.
Hey, there you go. 3/4 of UF is
well, we'll get to that as well later. So moving on to our last supporters club that was in action on the weekend, Bournemouth hosting Brentford.
Tough.
Bournemouth, we've talked about it right now. Again, they're in no threat of relegation, nowhere near it. But every match for them right now seems like a must win if they want European spots. And they seem to be having a large fall from grace now. Including this 2-1 loss at home to Brentford. Brentford, for whatever reason, does seem to just have Bournemouth's number. Bournemouth has never beaten Brentford in the Premier League.
Yeah, no, we talked about it last week. That it should have been a winnable match, but there was always that history.
So outside of let's go back. So Bournemouth has lost at home to Brentford, a disappointing away draw with Spurs.
I mean, it was hopeful then, but now it doesn't look as good.
They beat Wolves in a penalty shootout in the FA Cup. So by all technicality, that goes down as a draw.
Yep.
They lost at Brighton. They lost at home to Wolves. That was on the heels of, or that was with an early game Zabarny red card, which he then missed the next 3 matches. So, after beating Everton and Southampton, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 match winless streak.
Yeah.
And who do they have next? Home
big games
against Man City in the FA Cup quarterfinal. And that's the first match as we return from the international break. So
that's going to be a difficult situation.
Whereas some teams you look to kind of build momentum, maybe this international break is coming at the perfect
gather
spot.
Themselves 100%.
Recharge the batteries. Obviously, Bournemouth, for one of the first times in their history is consistently bringing players out to international duty. So you have, let me just off the top of my head, you have obviously Tyler Adams, who got called into the U.S. camp. You have Daniel Jebison, who got called into Canada camp. You have Zabarny with Ukraine. Dean Huijsen just got called in for his first matches with Spain. You have let me just go through the roster in my head now. You have probably Semenyo and Dango Ouattara.
Yes,
in with the African squads. You have I'm just trying to think off the top of my head who else we have. Did Sinisterra get called into Colombia?
I don't think
so. He's kind of recovering from injury. I don't believe Milos Kerkez got called in. Justin Kluivert got called into the Dutch national team. Yeah,
I didn't know that one. That's pretty awesome.
I did. Ryan Christie, I believe, got called in for Scotland. And Brooks, I think, got called into the Welsh team. That probably does it. But still, that's
a lot of players
for a traditional underdog squad.
Having all these players going out to national
have that
teams,
many players it's
impressive.
It's a good problem to have, and again, it brings in the for lack of a better word, the allure of maybe playing for a Bournemouth.
Yeah.
It's not like a lower level squad where, hey, you come to us and you're never going to feature for your national team again.
Exactly.
There's
a big chance in this one.
And there's eyes on it now.
Yes. Absolutely.
For as good as the Dutch team is, for Justin Kluivert
to be
from Bournemouth to be called into that national team is incredible.
Yep.
For as good as the Spanish national team is.
Oh my God, yes. That is even more
to be called in.
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Right? I think he's 19. Let me just double check.
No, I think so.
As a 19-year-old. Now, granted, that is through injury of some other defenders, and he's kind of the next man up that got called into camp, but still.
It's important, especially playing for Spain, learning that style, getting used to that system. That is going to help his IQ incredibly.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he's a couple of matches.
Right.
That will give him a glimpse.
Even if it's no matches and he's just in with the camp.
Just watching him play.
Exactly. It will be incredible for them. So anyway, back to our topic on hand. Bournemouth, a disappointing loss.
Yeah.
They now sit what most of us would call adrift in 10th place.
Yeah.
That being said, they're on 44 points. They're only 5 points out of that fourth spot for Champions League. With the way that the UEFA knockout competitions have worked out thus far, it does look extremely likely that the Premier League will get a 5th Champions League spot.
Yeah.
So that would obviously open up a whole list of other things. We also had, although it's not in our Premier League week abroad rundown, obviously because it's not Premier League action, Newcastle did beat Liverpool in the EFL Cup on the weekend. We both got our predictions wrong. We thought Liverpool would win fairly handily, but
did not happen.
Newcastle did take the 2-1 victory, their first title in 70 years.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Since, let's see, Newcastle United Trophy drought. I'm sure it'll pop up right here. Yeah, 70-year drought by winning the Carabao Cup. So what that means by winning the Carabao Cup is Newcastle is automatically now entered into the Conference League, which is the third-tier competition.
So that opens up another spot?
Or if for some reason, somehow Newcastle gets into a Europa League spot, that will then give their Carabao Cup spot to the next best team in the Premier League. So there is a completely bizarre, very, very unlikely chance that there could be 11 English teams.
No way. In the competitions?
In competitions next year.
Wow.
That includes having, I believe, Aston Villa win the Champions League. And either Tottenham or Man United winning the Europa League. So obviously a lot of dominoes need to fall in place.
Yes.
But still, the fact that that's even a thought.
It's crazy. No, it really is crazy, though.
But as it stands right now, it is looking increasingly likely that 7 or 8 spots will go.
That's good.
So you don't have to,
you get chances. Yeah, no, they still have a chance. And again, talking about Bournemouth like this right now at this point of the competition. Yes, it's kind of sad that they had this little losing streak and everything.
Sure. Yeah.
But we're talking about their intent. Their intent.
Yeah, and also we obviously
we're still ahead of schedule.
We're ahead of schedule. We are looking through a very focused Bournemouth Cherries lens.
Yeah, absolutely.
is this kind of where they belong all along, and we just overachieved a little bit early in, you know what I mean? So
literally that's what we were talking about. We were saying that
were
we were
out kicking our coverage in October, November, December with that big win streak.
That's next step
again. And now obviously you always expect your squad to win every match. So
no, absolutely. That is a very valid point and 100% right as a fan, as all of us. Yes, we want to see him win. We want to see him top 3, top 4. But when we were there, that was very exciting and everything. But yes, it was way ahead of schedule.
I agree.
It was way. We talked about it all the time. We were always punching above our weight. We were winning. It's an incredible thing again. Winning it's always everything is good when you're winning.
Of course.
But right now it's a reality check. Let's see the reaction.
I agree. All right. So that will do it for our week abroad. Stay tuned. We'll take a quick break and be right back for 100 miles to home, guys.
See you soon.
All right, welcome back to A Soccer Fan Walks Into a Bar. We got Diego here. I'm Dave. We are back for 100 miles to home, our coverage of all things local professional soccer. And we do have a new team to talk about for the first time in our short history of a podcast. Yes. So let's jump right into the MLS. On Saturday, we had Red Bulls hosting Orlando City. Choupo-Moting scored on a penalty, as well as a Jengar goal in the 47th minute, but it was not enough as Red Bulls and Orlando City drew 2-2. That leaves, obviously it's super early in the season, but it leaves Red Bulls kind of mid-table, languishing.
Yeah, I mean, that's all right though.
For now.
4 games, for now. Small sample.
Exactly. 4 games, small sample, but they sit currently 10th, the first team out of the playoffs. As for NYCFC, this match against New England Revolution, which is 10 years to the day of their home opener, oddly enough, also against New England Revolution. I was there for that one as well. A 2-1 victory for NYCFC, goals from Julian Fernandez and Alonso Martinez back again on the score sheet.
Good to see that.
Coming back from a Thiago Martins own goal, which was an incredibly well-struck ball if he was a forward. I was joking with a buddy of mine who happens to be a cameraman and was at the game taking photos, and he said it was the best shot that New England has had all year. Oddly enough, New England has not scored a goal.
No way.
Yet this year. Their only goal for is this own goal. So 7 shots for New England, only 1 on target, 10 shots for NYCFC. Possession was pretty even. Let me say an inconsistently officiated match.
There was a very controversial penalty. Was it? I think it was. Or
it was
like fouls.
It was a couple bad fouls. I was honestly surprised that it ended 11v11. Some back and forth, but the cooler heads rather prevailed, and NYCFC took the points. So that puts NYCFC now in 7th place, under a new manager, 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. That loss was a late goal given up at LAFC. The draw was 2-2 at Miami, which was another late goal that they gave up to concede. So realistically, they could be 3-0-1 right now, or 3-1-0 rather, on 10 points, which would put them joint first with Miami. So it's just very interesting. Obviously, you can't control, a lot of these things. In the run of play, over the course of the season, everything in theory should even out.
Yes.
So just good to see that NYCFC, despite the young squad, despite the new manager, is doing well.
Absolutely.
So far this season. All right, moving on to some U.S. Open Cup action. All right, so Westchester SC, our newest USL team, partially owned by local product Tyler Adams, They traveled to FC Motown in Montclair, New Jersey for the first round of the Open Cup, and they came out with a 1-0 victory, a Juan Carlos Obregon penalty in the 81st minute. But again, I was not at the match. By all looks on the statistics side, they absolutely dominated play. Motown only mustered 2 shots on target. They only had 34% possession to Westchester's 66.
Oh, that's a good look.
So, the future of Westchester is bright with this result. Obviously, I don't believe the draw for the next round has come out yet. So we will wait to see. We still have plenty of matches today and tomorrow. I think there's even today and tomorrow there's still some matches. To see who is left from the lower levels. The name was escaping me. To see who will advance into the second round, and then I believe it's the third or fourth round where we have MLS squads entering.
Join in.
So that will do it for 100 Miles to Home. We have we're going to alter up our What's on Tap segment a little bit because obviously we host watch parties up here in the brewery, but there's a lot of other good soccer out there that
needs to be made aware,
whether it's time frames or days or channels that are not necessarily available in our local area here. So we're going to talk about a bunch of matches, and then kind of obviously we will let you know
which ones are going to be here.
Which ones of those will be here in the tap room. So the first one actually is going to be live in the tap room on a TV. Thursday, 7 p.m., U.S. hosting Panama, CONCACAF Nations League semifinal.
It's getting there, yeah.
And obviously local standout Tyler Adams was called into the squad. Remains to be seen, if he'll feature, how much he'll feature, what kind of squad Pochettino will put together for this. But it is an extremely winnable game out in California for them to make a final. Elsewhere on Thursday, we have CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers. This one I'm sure hits home for you. Colombia traveling to Brazil.
It's a must win.
Yeah, let's see if we can bring up the standings for CONMEBOL right now. So Colombia sits in 4th place on 18 points. Brazil right behind them in 5th on 18.
Exactly.
So, very similar to what we were talking about in the Premier League. It looks by and large with
Argentina is already qualified.
And there's 6 matches left, right? They play home and home. Yeah, so 6 matches left. Argentina on 25 in 1st. And then here we go. Uruguay 20. Ecuador 19, Colombia 19, Brazil 18, Paraguay 17. Then you have Bolivia and Venezuela further behind 13 and 12. They need, not only do they need to win out, but they need help from other results.
Well, it's funny. No, not even. If Bolivia actually wins all the games that are left in La Paz, they are in.
Really?
Yeah, they just need like a half a tie or something, but no, they get in there.
All right.
It's crazy.
Well, who does Bolivia have left? Let's take a look. So Bolivia tomorrow is at Peru, then home against Uruguay, at Venezuela, home against Chile, who has struggled mightily, then on my birthday, oddly enough, at Colombia, and then home against Brazil. So that home match in La Paz against Brazil could be the one.
They win those 3, and then they get a tie with Peru.
Okay.
Right? It's crazy. It's like you said, the middle of the table is just a matter of jockeying for position right now.
And for those of you that either don't know the geography or are not in tune to South American qualification, going to La Paz is one of the most difficult places on earth to play.
To do anything, any sport.
Between the altitude and the crowd and everything else that comes along with it, the travel, no hotel is safe from fire alarms at 3:00 in the morning.
No, they take advantage of their home status.
Course. You know what?
That's their fortress.
Have to.
And they have to. They have no competition anywhere else. So, we understand. We in the CONMEBOL understand that, you got to use your tricks whenever you can.
All right, so after that, the late match on Thursday, another CONCACAF Nations League. We will not have this one at the brewery, but I do believe it is on I have to take a look. I want to say, is it TNT and Univision? I think that's it. Canada hosting Mexico in the other semifinal. That's 10:30 p.m. on Thursday. Another big match, and that will set up into our weekend. Friday, the 21st at 7:30 p.m. Uruguay hosting Argentina. It has been announced as of, I think, yesterday morning. Lionel Messi will not be traveling with the Argentinian national team.
They're going to use the B squad for the rest of the
I mean, they like you said, they had already qualified for through CONMEBOL. That being said, these are two big matches. They play both Uruguay and Brazil.
So, but they get a good, backup line and everything.
Right. But for the Colombians of the world, you want Argentina to beat Brazil in this match.
We want the A team and Uruguay.
Yeah. So it again, when you control your own destiny, that's your decision to make.
Absolutely.
Anyone else that complains about it, they should have done their work earlier.
Boo to you, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
So nothing to write home about there. In terms of, although it'll still be a match full of fireworks.
Yeah.
Uruguay, Argentina has always brought, the best out of each other.
No, you know what? It gives us a chance to see what Brazil does too. I mean, what kind of players are they bringing? You know, I was very interested on the whole going back to the Brazil laid out.
Yes.
To get your players from. We talked about it.
Yeah, we did.
That's always my opinion. Brazil has so much better players at home than the ones that come to Europe because of the style of play.
And you got Neymar back in Brazil now as well.
So. Yes, sir.
All right. So going into Sunday, we are, at least for the tap room here, kind of up in the air. Obviously, tomorrow's results or Thursday's results, depending on what day you're listening, will kind of affect what matches we have here. The third place match for CONCACAF Nations League is at 6 p.m. The final follows that at 9:30 p.m. So depending on how the U.S. and or Mexico does, will kind of dictate what, if any, matches we have going on here in the tap room. So stay tuned to our social medias, I would say, for all of that with an update. But without putting the cart before the horse, I am pretty confident that if the U.S. makes the final, we will have a special opening party at 9:30 p.m. for that on Sunday. So rest assured, if you want to watch the U.S. With us here in the tap room, have some beers, we'll make it happen. All right. So our last bit of action, one for the road. You have anything for us?
No, I mean, we talked about it. Barcelona is my thing right now. I'm so impressed with that. That's not news to anybody.
Despite everything that's been going on with Barcelona, Hansi Flick has gotten them humming at a level that I don't think even the biggest Barcelona fans, I don't think would have seen this happen.
No, absolutely not right now. You know what I realized? Hansi Flick was like the perfect fit to that team. There are so many players that he has coached through their careers when it comes to the veterans. I mean, Lewandowski has been with him for in 3 different teams in his career, and he always gets the best out of that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Again, I can't stop talking about him. I'm so impressed with what they're doing right now. But that's my one for the road, Hansi Flick and Lewandowski.
So mine hits a little bit closer to home. We have, the USL well represented here locally. We have our Hudson Valley Hammers in League 2. We have Westchester SC now in League 1.
Yeah.
The USL club owners have now voted with a supermajority win to adopt promotion and relegation across their 3 divisions.
Nice.
So, currently we have USL Championship, we have USL League 1, we have USL League 2. They are in talks to be starting a first division league as well to rival the MLS.
Okay.
It remains to be seen if that league will also kind of incorporate the promotion relegation top to bottom. But for promotion and relegation to now be at the forefront for maybe not the biggest league in the U.S., but a league that certainly has a critical mass in terms of teams and money, it certainly opens the eyes to, for the MLS and MLS Next Pro and everything they have going on. Will this eventually be part of a larger merger? Who knows?
I mean, innovative ideas always take over.
Yeah.
What's
well, this kind of obviously
that would be a great.
You and I weren't alive back then, but it reminds me of like the AFL NFL merger. It reminds me of maybe the ABA NBA merger. Those kinds of league-wide adoptions.
Absolutely.
To bring in some new ideas, some fresh faces, some fresh. Let's be honest, some fresh money.
That's the main part of the situation.
Oh, yeah. Always. Just follow the money. So it's a very cool aspect to be talking about now.
Yep.
People have been clamoring for literally since the inception of the MLS. Where is Pro Rel? Where are we? If you want to be up there with the European giants, that's what we need. Honestly, I kind of jump on both sides of the fence with that. There's certain times where I would love, to have promotion and relegation. Realistically, business-wise, logistics-wise, accommodations, infrastructure-wise, there's a lot that would need to be in place already for
that's the thing. It's not a
relegation.
When it comes to business and sports, it's not really a culture. It's a culture that abides for that, because a lot of the deals that you do as a team is with the city.
Yes.
They get tax exceptions, you get all these things, and they're predicated on you being at this level.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the problem in this country. You can just say, hey, you're going to go to the second division, because that's going to screw up a lot of different things.
Let's be honest.
So the economics are difficult.
The MLS and U.S. soccer was not an organic genesis.
Yeah.
It was part of the requirements for hosting the '94 World Cup.
Yep.
It's not like these clubs existed 100 years ago and they were, the factory workers from, I'll just use something locally that we've hosted lately is IBM.
Yeah.
So it's not the IBM factory workers that, banded together and just started their own pickup team, and then the club was born.
Exactly. It's not like that.
This was a very manufactured franchise model event.
Yep.
Essentially started by just about two or three people. It was Philip Anschutz, it was Lamar Hunt, and it was Robert Kraft.
Yeah, that was it.
And they pretty much ran the entire league. Anschutz and Hunt both owned multiple teams for multiple years just to keep everything afloat. And like them or hate them, thank God for what they did. They put their money, where their mouth was for years when the product was not necessarily there. Yep. So without those guys, again, like them or hate them, without those guys, the league probably
doesn't
ceases to exist.
Absolutely.
So
now it is time to take it to the next
time
step.
Right now. We have fandom, we have infrastructure, we have top tier players wanting to come here. I'm talking, the Ibrahimoviches, the Beckhams, the Messis of the world.
Absolutely.
We have the heels of another World Cup being hosted here. We have a Club World Cup being hosted here.
Yep.
This has become not that it always was, but this has become a much more globalized game.
Yes.
Whether it's through social media, through FIFA video games, through everything.
Like you said, globalized, but within the country.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everybody's embracing.
To my point is, the general American fan is much more aware, not only of soccer, but of European soccer. And they see promotion and relegation battles. They see the playoff final that's at Wembley every year.
And it's totally new to them.
But now it's kind of in their lexicon.
Yep.
Why don't we have that here is, kind of the initial reaction. So we'll see what this brings about.
Yeah.
I am just very excited to see the movers and shakers and how they react. But it's got a lot of potential, both good and bad, downhill for us as American soccer fans. So that'll do it for us this week. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We have obviously the international break this week, so not a super heavy watch party week. But give us a follow: Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky. Throw us a like on our Discord if you want to be involved more with the watch parties. Get into our chant group. Send us an email, cdunewburgh@gmail.com. Basically, just search CDU Newburgh wherever you need to be. And you'll find our ugly mugs, and we'll keep on talking soccer for you. All right. So thanks again, and we'll catch you next week, guys. Cheers.
Be well.